Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the second unit, it starts with the contract of insurance. So as I told you, the insurance contract, basically it is a contract. So that is why it has to satisfy all the ingredients of a valid contract, plus it has to satisfy certain peculiar features. Then only it would become a valid insurance contract. Otherwise, it will remain as a mere contract only, and it will not become insurance contract. Then the nature of the insurance contract. So as I told you, these are certain peculiar features which it must satisfy. That is, it must have an aleatory nature in the contract, and it should be a contract of utmost good faith. It should be a contract of indemnity, and it should be a contract of wager. Okay, so these are certain peculiar features. So we will be discussing them in little detail in this particular topic. Every contract of insurance must have the following things. So what are they, without which the contract would be incomplete? In the first place, there must be a contract between the parties. That is, the two important parties. One is the insurer and another is insured. Insurer is the insurance company and the insured is the person who has taken the insurance policy. There must be a contract between these two. That means first there has to be a valid contract between the contract must be the insurer undertakes to protect the insured from any loss or damage to be insured on the happening of the event. So what exactly happens in this insurance contract based on the definitions which we have seen? It is basically an undertaking which is taken by one person to compensate the loss of the another person on the happening of a particular event. So usually it is, whether it is certain or uncertain, it depends upon the nature of the contract, whether it is a purely wagering contract or whether it has got characteristics of wagering contract. So it depends on that. But the fact remains that there is an undertaking taken by one person to compensate the loss of another person in the event of happening of a particular event. And in consideration for the above, the assured undertakes to make the insurer a periodical payment of a sum of money that is called premium. But naturally, there has to be a valid contract. There has to be a consideration for both the parties. As far as the insurance company is concerned, it is the premium which is paid by the insured is the consideration. Then how about the consideration for the insured? For the insured or the person who has taken the insurance policy, to him the consideration is the undertaking taken by the insurance company is itself is a consideration. As you have seen, the general principles of contract, the consideration need not be in the form of money. So that is why it is an undertaking that acts as consideration to him. And as far as the insurance company is concerned, it is the premium which is paid by the insured is the consideration. The contract must be in writing. Document is called insurance policy. We don't call it as contract, but it is called as the technical name, that is the policy. So the policy includes or it contains the a contract which is made in writing between the parties. So these are important things that every contract of insurance must have. Okay. Then to be valid, there should be contract, as I said. That means it has to satisfy all the ingredients of section 10 of the Indian contract. Again, we'll just have recap of what you have studied in Contract Act. That all agreements are contracts if they are made by the free consent of the parties, competent to contract, lawful consideration, and with lawful object, and are not hereby expressly declared to be void. That means it is not just an agreement consisting of offer, acceptance, and consideration. It has to be a contract. The agreement will become contract only when it has certain other features that if it is made by free consent, it is not affected by any vitiating elements, then the parties must be competent, and there should be a consideration, and there should be a lawful object, and such agreements are not specifically declared as void by a specific law. So you will see section 24 to 30, they specifically deal with certain types of agreements which are expressly declared to be void. Under no circumstances they can be considered as valid contracts, though all on the face of it, it appears to be satisfying all the important aspects of a valid contract, but still they are prohibited. For example, the wagering contract, section 30 of Indian Contract Act, it says the wagering contract is void. Though there is an offer, there is an acceptance, there is a consideration, and they have agreed upon the same thing in the same sense, everything is fine, but still it is not. Why? Because it depends upon purely speculation. So that is why it becomes a betting contract, and the same is not enforceable. It must be a contract for consideration to secure some benefit, not necessarily money or money's worth. Upon happening of a uncertain event, will it ever happen or not? It's not necessary that the event which is thought of should happen. That is why the word uncertain is used sometimes. The uncertain event, it may or may not happen, and there should be a consideration to each other, and it need not be money form. It may be a money's worth. If uncertain event happens, or somebody would argue, if there is the thing that is certainly going to happen, then on that the contract cannot stand. But the time with regard to which is uncertain, as the example I gave you in the previous class, as far as life insurance is concerned, if a person takes a policy on his life, then there should be an uncertain event which should be the subject matter. But here, death is certain. Then how can he take the insurance policy is the question now. The event is, though it is certain, but when it is going to happen, there is an uncertainty with regard to the time of its happening. So that is why, since there is an uncertainty, he can take insurance policy. So that is the. Now coming to the classification of the contracts of insurance. The contract of insurance can be broadly classified into various categories. There is no hard and fast rule because many authors have classified the insurance contract in different ways. Some said there are only two broad classification. Some said there are three broad classification. Some have classified into 4, 5, or 6 categories. That is why there is no hard and fast rule. They have classified according to the view which they had. So let us consider few of them, so that we can understand better as to how usually these insurance contracts are classified. So basically, some have broadly classified into 3 categories. That is, number 1, it is a life insurance or insurance taken on human life. Secondly, it is the general insurance. Third, it is the reinsurance. So according to some authors, it is only the 2 that are important, or they say the insurance contracts are classified into only 2 broad categories. One is life and is general insurance. As we have seen in the previous unit, as far as present position is concerned, the reinsurance is done by only one company, that is GIC, General Insurance Corporation, which is the sole reinsurance sector in India. So this is how, whenever you are asked to write any answer for that matter, write something about the meaning of insurance in the first place in 2-3 lines, then write about the classification of insurance, then write whichever question that is asked. For example, if the question is asked on fire insurance, then you have to say this is the classification, and fire insurance, it falls under the second category, that is general insurance. Then you start writing the concerned answer. That is how you have to, that's what we usually say as synopsis. It is better you write synopsis so that the chain of thought is not cut and you are able to write the required answer in a stipulated time. The classification, the another kind of classification is like this, depending upon the nature of various insurance contract. Number one, according to the nature of the interest affected. So here, the insurance contract is classified based on the interest which is affected. And secondly, based on according to the nature of the event or based on the event. So what type of interest is affected, on that the insurance contract is classified. Or secondly, it depends upon the nature of the event. If a particular event happens, then it would be this type of insurance. If something else happens, then it would be another kind of insurance. So this is another classification of insurance contracts based on interest and based on event. Now we'll see what exactly we mean by this. So according to the nature of the interest affected, andre nimma yava hitasakti dhakkege ಒಳಗಾಗಿದೆ ಅದರದ ಮೇಲೆ so now decide ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. Now which interest is protected, what type of interest is protected under the contract of insurance, you have to take into consideration. Then you will find an answer as to which type of insurance contract it is. For example, personal insurance, property insurance, liability insurance. So this is another classification of the insurance contract. In case of personal insurance, they have given a name as personal insurance. What you'll see here, the insurance is taken on the life of one individual or life of others. Okay, so naturally the subject matter would be the death or life of a particular individual. Death would be upon death of a particular individual, the insurance company has to pay the amount, or after expiry of a particular period of time. For example, upon he getting 60 or 70 or 65, the insurance company, or after expiry of a particular stipulated time, that after 10 years he will get this amount, after 15 years he will get this amount. Or it may be an injury to the body also. If a particular insurance is taken on a particular part of the body, then if that part of the body gets injured, then the insurance company would pay the insurance amount. Then the property insurance. Property insurance is the insurance which is taken on the property. That is, in case of loss, deterioration, destruction of the property, then the insurance company will have to pay the amount. That usual examples you will find is the fire insurance and marine insurance. They are the best examples of property insurance. Then comes liability insurance. Liability insurance is, sometimes the person is exposed to liability to third persons, though he is not directly responsible, but since the third party has visited his premises and he got injured, then he has to pay the compensation. The usual example is the motor vehicles, aviation and industrial insurances, wherein you don't know who is that third person. If he gets injured, then he can take compensation from your insurer. So that is called, if you become liable to the third person, that liability um, will be taken over by the insurance company. That is why it is called as the liability insurance. Secondly, according to the nature of the event, when amount becomes payable, naturally upon happening of a particular event. So by looking to the event, you can come to a conclusion of what type of insurance it is. So in case of life insurance, what you will see, when the amount becomes payable. In case of fire insurance, when the amount becomes payable, and similarly in case of marine insurance. There is one more category called miscellaneous insurance. The one which doesn't fall under any of these categories will fall under the last category. So in case of life, as I told you, it is upon the death or age. Is the subject, or you can say that you have to take into consideration in order to decide whether it is a life insurance or not. Secondly, the fire insurance. So when the person is entitled to the amount upon happening of the event, that the property which is insured got fire, and either it is destroyed or deteriorated or completely disappeared, then the insurance company has to pay the amount. And in case of marine insurance, it is the perilous event that is insured. If that happens, then the insurance company becomes liable. Peril is a danger. There are certain peculiar perils in the sea. There is a separate topic called perils of the sea. Therein we will study in little detail what are those perils and how many perils are covered in an insurance contract. And if that happens, whether the insurance company will become liable or not. So those aspects we'll see. Lastly, under the heading miscellaneous insurance, various kinds of insurances can be included, like motor vehicle insurance, industrial insurance, aviation insurance, transport insurance. So different, many other kinds of insurances can be grouped therein. So this is the second type of classification, which is based on the event. Many a times, question would be asked, what explain the nature of insurance contract and the classification of insurance contract. Then you may write the classification as we have studied. As far as the first one is concerned, the broad category into three categories or three divisions, and the another kind of classification is like that. So keep in mind the stipulated time that is provided to the question, or if it is asked in short note question, then don't waste your time in writing all those details. If it is asked essay type question, then see for how many marks it has been asked. Accordingly, you adjust your answer, whether you are going to write in little detail or in a summary way. You would be the best judge under the circumstances. Then, as I told, there is no hard and fast rule for the division. The broad division is the property insurance and non-property insurance. So according to some authors, this is another kind of classification which they have made. They have broadly grouped these insurances under this property insurance, and non-property insurance means life insurance. So life, all other kinds of insurances. So this is another kind of classification. You will see the various types of insurances that are available in the market right now. There may be some other new also, which we may not be knowing. Just if you Google around, then you'll find the various kinds of insurances that are available, and they are grouped like personal insurances, commercial insurance, then we'll see social insurance, then industrial insurance, and liability insurance. So according to some other authors, the classification may be a little different. We'll just see what different types of insurances that are available. For example, Mediclaim policy, then family foster Mediclaim policy, Janta Mediclaim policy, personal accident policy. This is quite common, and the motor policy, money insurance, Suhana Safar policy. So TV, VCR, VCP insurance, mobile cellular phone insurance, like that. So all these are the personal properties. That is why it is called as personal insurance. Either then commercial insurance, you will see the banker's indemnity, shopkeeper's policy, plate glass policy, where that is the glass which is used while constructing a building. Then fidelity guarantee insurance is very important while recruiting a particular person. Then marine hull policy, then aviation policy, like that. Then from the welfare of the society, it is the universal health insurance, Jan Arogya Bhima policy, Bhagyashree child welfare, Janta personal accident, then rural insurance, Ashraya Bhima Yojana, so like that. And industrial insurance, particular which are peculiar to a particular industry, the fire policy, burglary policy. Burglary is theft. Then machinery breakdown, which is very important. If the machine breaks down and the production is stopped, then who is to make good the loss which he has suffered? Then the other kinds of policies that are available. Then this is a new kind of policy, particularly after 90s. It has become very popular, and there is a separate law on that point, that is Public Liability Insurance Act of 1991. So the public liability policy, product liability policy, then lift insurance, then carrier's liability insurance, then golfer's indemnity insurance, like that. Various kinds of insurances that are available, but the fact remains that they are broadly classified into three categories. One is life, second the general insurance, in which all other types of insurances are grouped, and lastly it is the reinsurance. So you may just write in the examination, so whichever type of insurance which you have studied and which you will be conveniently able to write. Is that clear? Following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we'll just see the peculiar features without which the insurance contract would be that is grouped under the heading called nature of the insurance contract. So many times, the question may be asked, write a note on the nature of the insurance contract and the its classification. So you should be knowing these peculiar features, and you have to specifically write that what things should be there compulsorily. That as I told you just now, in every insurance contract, these must be compulsorily there. That is a guarantee, undertaking that is taken, agreement in writing, all these things, plus certain peculiar features. So what are they? There are different views with regard to the following things which we are going to discuss, but the fact remains that they are predominant, they are very important. Number one, the contract of insurance is an aleatory contract. And secondly, the contract of insurance includes utmost good faith, the concept of utmost good faith. It is also called as contract of uberrima fides. We'll discuss in the next class. Then it is a contract of indemnity. Very important thing. First of all, you have to understand, again, you have to go back to the general principles of contract as well as the special contract, that is contract 2. So in contract 2, we have studied as to what is contract of indemnity. So the same concept has to be brought here as well. Then if it is not a contract of indemnity, then it would not be an insurance contract as well. And lastly, it is a contract of wager. Very interesting thing is, though the wagering contracts, they are expressly declared to be void, but still you'll see the insurance contract is considered to be a perfectly valid contract. Why? Because it has got all the characteristics of a wagering contract, but still it is valid. Why? It has got an important element called insurable interest. Insurable interest. So that's what we'll see while dealing with these peculiar features. So whenever you are asked to write the answer for the nature of the insurance contract, in the first place you have to say what is insurance, then it has to satisfy all the ingredients of a valid contract, then plus these peculiar features. So one after the other, write your synopsis and accordingly write your answer. So we'll discuss these aspects in our next class. If you have any doubt, get it clarified, or we'll stop it here now because the 40 minutes time is running out.